Howdy doody, everybody.
What up?
It's me and Breezy. Tex is on location tonight, so I don't think he's going to be joining us.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. Hopefully he'll come back with some good stories to share. Right? Because I think he's at a pretty active area. I think I know where he is. Hopefully he's having a good time. Hey, Mike, thank you. Oh, so sweet. I got a nice little bump right at the beginning of the show. Thanks so much, Mike. So what's up, Breezy? How was your week? We didn't get to talk that much this week.
Yeah, we didn't. It's been pretty much like I had the flu thing last week, so nothing interesting. I've just been recuperating and doing a whole lot of nada.
Trying to rejoin the living.
Yeah, not interested, but I got there, I guess. It's part of their
Get
thing.
your handbook for the recently diseased or deceased.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better at least. I know you were pretty rough last week.
Oh yeah. I didn't think I was gonna make it.
He's calling me. If I don't make it, I'm bequeathing you my what was it, your YouTube channel? Yeah, my StreamYard. You can have it until the money runs out next year. And I was like, yeah, no. I'd rather have Breezy than the StreamYard platform. Who wouldn't rather have Breezy? Come on.
I don't know. It depends on who you ask.
Well, I think you're cool. You're always kind to me. Everybody, that watches us likes you.
Yeah.
Right? Or they wouldn't be watching. They
This
dig
is
the
true.
Breezy. See?
Digging the Breezy.
They're digging the Breezy. They're digging the speakeasy. Oh, so tonight it's probably not going to be a long show, you guys, because like I was telling Breezy backstage, like I'm on the struggle bus tonight. I'm not feeling great. So we're going to hit some topics for y'all. And then, along the way, Breezy and I, I'm sure will be us. But you want to jump into it, or you want to talk about anything first? Break the ice?
No, I'm interested in seeing if I get an aha factor in these and go, oh, I do know this one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, it's hard for me to throw a rock and not find one somewhere. At first it might completely elude me, and I'm like, I have no idea what y'all are talking about. And then they're like, this one time in 1874, and I'm like, I know this one.
So, everybody in chat's agreeing that they love you, by the way. As long as you don't live up to your name in a tight room, says Pyromedic.
Yeah.
Don't be Breezy in a tight room.
Yeah, it tends to get a little claustrophobic.
Well, it would probably go past claustrophobic if we were in a small room. So we'll jump right into it. And hopefully, Mr. Breezy will have an aha moment for us all.
Maybe. Let's find out.
I bet he will, because he's a smart cat. So let's kick it off with the old night marchers, because the night marchers have been something that always fascinated me. So what they are, for anybody who doesn't know, and I did spell it wrong, it's all one word and I broke it into two. So the night marchers are Hawaiian chiefs and warriors that have died, and they come back, and they come back en masse, right? So they are seen as a large group, a procession, and they come either out of the land or out of the sea, and they start marching across the island at sundown, and they stay marching until right before sunrise. And they, like I said, they come en masse, so there's a large group of them. There is a chief in there somewhere, depending on whether or not this is interesting, if any of his body parts are sacred. So like, if to look on a sacred part, like of a chief, Like, let's say that for whatever reason, his face is sacred or his back is sacred or his arm, like regular folks, like the peasants, you're not supposed to look at that. So it is the same in death. So they will lead the procession if their face is sacred. So they'll be at the front where the warriors cannot see their face. If their back or any part of what's going on behind them is sacred, they would be at the back of the procession. Most of the time, though, there's nothing sacred going on, and they're just mingled into the group. But they are usually headed towards either sacred sites or battlegrounds, and they can be, well, it's a really complicated kind of story. So sometimes there's conch shells that are blown and you can hear the drumming while they're, going through the procession. Or sometimes they're quiet. Like if the chief whose band you happen upon, if that chief didn't like noise, he liked silence, then they're going to march in silence. If he liked a lot of ruckus, you're going to hear the conch shells and you're going to hear the beating of the drums as they're marching. And their feet, this is also interesting, never touch the ground. So they kind of, as they're marching, they're floating above the ground. And if they come across a peasant, right, one of us, in the process of this night march, you're supposed to throw yourself on the ground and not look at them. And you're supposed to show fear and reverence because this is the chief. And if they feel that you are not showing the appropriate amount of, reverence for the group, they'll kill you. They'll kill you. You're not supposed to look at them. And I have even heard that if you wet yourself, like they'll, oh yeah, all right, they're scared. It's good. They want you scared. And if you happen to have a family member among them, they will shout out in Hawaiian, mine, the word for mine, and the marchers will leave you alone. If an old ancestor recognizes you as blood, they'll say they'll keep you safe. And that's not to say that you can be like, yo, what's up, Uncle Bob? You can't be doing that. You still have to show like respect. But yeah, if you are lucky enough to have a member of your family in the procession, then you're generally cool. You don't have to worry too much. But yeah, there's stories of people happening across the night marchers, or they can hear them coming and just get out of the way, and you can't stop them. Like if you put barriers up or you try to hide in a house, if it's along their path, they're spectral. They're going to go right through any kind of barrier that you have raised. So that's not going to help you. Your best bet is to vacate the area. And if they see you, or if it's too late, you can see the torches and the glow that they emit, then you're going to you're gonna have to throw yourself on the ground and grovel and maybe pee your pants to survive that encounter.
No problem. I drink a lot of Budweiser.
Be like, done and done.
Is that all? So these are mostly, is this actual Hawaiian lore or like Samoan lore?
No, this is Hawaiian.
It just goes straight, stops at Hawaii.
Well, I don't know that it goes to Samoa. I haven't heard it out of Samoa, but it's definitely Hawaiian. And so somebody in chat asked a very interesting question. It doesn't have to do with the night marchers. But he said, Monica, I met a guy who worked at a funeral home / morgue, but he said when they got young children at the place, we would always see black dogs in and outside the place. What does that mean? Well, that's interesting. I'm not sure. Were they like actual dogs, or do you think that they were like spirits? Was it like an old shuck kind of thing? Because black dogs typically are omens of death, but you would see them prior to the death. I don't know about them coming after death, especially for children. So I'm not too familiar with that. I did have a friend who I don't know that she's psychic, but she does have dreams. She has very prophetic dreams. And right before my son was killed, she was dreaming about black dogs. And she didn't tell me, not that I would have put two and two together, but she didn't tell me about it until after the fact. And I was like, woman, you've got to tell me when you have weird dreams like this. I would have been more cautious. I don't, like I said, you can't put two and two together. You don't know what the future has in store. But yeah, for that particular question, my answer, unfortunately, is I really don't know. Because like I said, typically they're coming to collect souls, and they're usually not good people they're coming to collect if they're coming to collect. If it's just an omen of death, it's typically prior to the death. They shouldn't be hanging around after the deed is done. So that one, you got me. I'm not sure what that's about.
I would think if anything, just off the top of my nugget, it would be a guide of some sort, to guide the small children that don't know any better.
Well, it's interesting that they would send dogs, though. I mean, why a black dog of all things?
Well, I mean, I do know. There is a bunch of urban lore where black dogs are a good thing. Like they'll see it at the wake, and everyone's like, "Whose dog is that?" No one knows whose dog it is. Turns out it was just the usher.
If it's ushering over, that's fine, and they just happen to be black. I could see that. But I have like such strong connection of specifically black dogs to bad omens. Like old shark is a thing for me. So
no, it's definitely more common in the stories to be bad omens. That it's rare and few and far in between that I'd even think I've heard of a protector style. But wasn't that one of the ones in the original scary movies to tell in the dark? I think it was just called Black Dog, and it was about like a dog that guided the kid to and from the school bus or something, and they'd see its patch of hair every day.
Was it being benevolent?
No, it was being like an assist,
Well, that's benevolence.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I guess so.
It wasn't trying to chew his arm off.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I guess I just put it up to a different tier. Oh, you're cool. Yeah.
So I mean, animals in general coming to help people across, I could 100% see. Like I said, if it just happens to be a black dog, then it's entirely possible they're coming to usher the spirits away. But I would think by the time they get to the funeral home, their spirits have long since gone.
Dissipated.
Yeah. I just feel like at the moment, personally, I think at the moment of death, right? You leave your vessel.
Yeah, you're in the transformation stage.
Yeah. You're not following your body. That's why I don't believe that, when people see spirits in graveyards, that it's what they think they're seeing. And I'm not saying that occasionally a spirit wouldn't try to stay with the body and would eventually end up there. But I think that it's few and far between things like that happening. I think that what you're seeing, if you're catching a glimpse of a ghost in a graveyard, it's nothing good. Because they can look like whatever they want to. Right. The bad things can look like whatever they want to. And I think that what inhabits a graveyard typically is something that is feeding off of grief and sorrow. And that's just really not anything good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
I came to the conclusion that I'm an energy vampire today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been hanging out with energy vampires lately. And I'm coming to the conclusion that one of my friends is an energy vampire because every time they call me on the phone, I'm like, I'm just not 16-year-old Monica. I don't want to talk on the phone. Text me. I'll text you back. Don't call me. Don't call me. I did all of my talking in my teens. I have nothing left in me for that.
Not a drop.
Yeah, it was all well and gone by the time I hit 30, and I am well past 30.
Yeah. Now I was saying that because last night I realized that whenever it's cold outside, but you're warm under the blankets, like I can never get warm. And last night I do it a million times. I have to sneak away to like ET phone home Jen, because if she feels me touch her, it's all over with, and she'll like leave the room. But if I can just actually make a point of contact, it's like I freaking soak up all of her warmth. Why, yes, bask it in.
The difference is that he doesn't care if I touch him, so I just throw my foot over his, because he sleeps kind of on his like a hiker, like a mountain climber, like not quite on his stomach, but not on his side either.
Right.
He's got like one leg sticking out, and I just throw my hoof over like across his calf. And I'm like, your energy is mine.
No, that would be the end of me. I have to do it ever so sneakily.
I have to say hi to people in the chat. Oh, you know what I did? I created memberships.
What's that?
I had to create a membership. YouTube's like, create a membership. So I was like, all right, I'll create a membership. So I don't know. You get like members only shorts that I make. I have to do incentives.
Oh, extra work. Sweet.
Yeah. So you get you get, I guess, shorts nobody else gets. I don't know what to put in these things. If you have a suggestion for membership tiers, please let me know, my faithful audience, because I want to give you what you want. And Breezy needs to catch up.
That's right.
The speakeasy needs to get on board. So did the night marchers trigger anything for you? Anything?
No, I didn't. It I don't know. It reminded me of, well, so then it had me thinking a few things. One is like, which is the chief that gets to be the main dead chief? Right? Like,
well, I think that, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I think that there's more than one night march. So each chief would have his warriors from his time that he was reigning, I believe. So you're not getting it. I don't think that it happens like every night. It doesn't happen every night. So
it's probably ceremonious little type of thing. Because it's hitting me like a major celebratory thing in like a religion, like Shabbat, or
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like something that comes around every Christmas, whatever.
Right.
And because you think about it, so it's a parade through the streets by the undead.
So
right?
I had to look it up. So it is okay. So it's on nights that honor the Hawaiian gods Kane, Ku, Lono, or on the nights of Kanaloa.
Okay.
I'm not sure what Kanaloa is, but it's on those, like it's nights that honor those three specific gods.
Yeah.
And sometimes the gods will join the night marchers. And on the nights that there are gods in the procession, the torches are brighter. More energy.
Yeah. And they have worse vision in a long time. Yeah, no, I mean, other than that, to me, so that's what it sounded like to me. What I was getting at was like more like festivals, I guess we should say.
Like
so
very specific nights, I suppose.
Yeah.
They're not just popping up at random. They're like, it's
right.
Thursday the 21st. Let's go.
So I wonder if how closely aligned to celestials they are. So I mean, are they like during the equinoxes or?
Whatever days you are honoring those gods,
That's when it
is
is.
when it's happening. And now I don't know the Hawaiian tradition well enough to tell you what days those are.
Right.
But those are the days. If you're worried about night marchers, maybe look it up.
Yeah, you'd think.
Plan your Hawaiian vacation around those days, like away from those days, so you don't get caught by the night marchers while you're on your way back from a luau or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure they really, really don't like the tourists.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, don't tell them you're from Cali. You're like,
Yeah.
from Cali, bro.
Any of the mainland, anywhere other than there. Because they can see whether or not you are Hawaiian, I'm sure. Okay, so night marchers didn't ring a ding ding a little bell for old Breezy.
No.
So, all right, let's move on to the Dark Watchers. And again, all three of my topics tonight, Breezy was like,
I know not
all right, if you say so. So the Dark Watchers are these tall beings that are seen on the peaks of the Santa Lucia Mountains in Central California.
Santa Lucia.
That's it. And they've been around for a long time. So the indigenous folks would talk about them, the Spaniards, the Mexicans that would wander up the coast. They would speak of them also. And, which is interesting, Steinbeck wrote about them in one of his books. And his son was so fascinated by them that his son co-authored a book all about them. And I just found that out. So I'm going to have to go dig this book up and read it myself. So the Dark Watchers are described as tall beings, usually giant-sized, silhouetted against the peaks of these mountains. They usually have brimmed hats and walking sticks. And they are seen in twilight hours and pre-dawn hours. So they're seen at certain times of the day. You're not going to usually catch a glimpse of them like at noon. They don't do anything. They just watch. And that's why they're called the Dark Watchers. They just like perch up there on the tops of these mountains and observe what's going on down below. And if you approach them, because there have been people that have claimed to have come upon them while they're hiking, and you will notice them, which is okay, but if you direct your attention to them, they'll disappear. If you actually try to approach one of them, they will disappear. And a lot of people chalk these up to a condition called, I think it's called broken, what is it, spirit? What is it called? Broken. Spectre. There it is. Broken Spectre, which is German. And it's a condition that happens when light hits at a certain angle and it reflects your shadow like up onto some clouds. It's a mountaineering thing. It's not uncommon. Like I think in the Alps, it's a German word for sure. But that doesn't account for these things standing still. People that see these aren't usually just standing on place. They're walking around. They're moving. But these images are like static. They don't move. They're just these giant figures overlooking everything. And they appear the same. They seem to have hats. They're human shaped. They've got walking sticks. And it doesn't make sense to me that it's that light playing tricks on you kind of thing. If that were the case, then the watchers would be moving around and they're not. So I don't know what that is. Any ideas what you think it might be?
Well, I mean, if you're adding in a tire, right? A tire, not a tire. So then that goes right to um, either my mimic world or beyond the other veil type thing. Like you're basically talking like the same thing, like the hat people, such
Right.
like that.
Like a giant
So
version of the Hat Man.
right. But instead of completely black, non see through, it's more kind of like from what I was gathering from what you were putting out, is kind of like the Predator. Like he's there, but it's not there, but kind of
Well, they seem to be
camouflaged.
solid, and people are definitely seeing them, right?
Right.
They're there, and they're these black figures, right? And they appear to be giant considering the distance that people are seeing them from
Okay.
usually. And
I don't know why I was registering. It was like it looked like the background. I don't know why.
no. I mean, you can definitely see them, like and I don't know what to make of that. I really don't. Are they guardian spirits? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like earth spirits, because those can be pretty big.
Well, I do believe those were set up on both sides. Of the veil. At certain portals. So yeah, absolutely. This could be, that team of them. And that for that district or whatever. Because where else do we see these same kind of entities, right? So that's where I'm going at with my nugget is I'm trying to think of other locations, worldwide where you get the hat thing with the giantism, and then it's obviously a manifested piece.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think of anything that what would you call it? Gives a common denominator with it all.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm coming up with a blank. I mean, there's one or the other, but I'm not thinking of anywhere I see them all.
Well, I don't wonder if they aren't some sort of like elemental spirit.
Right.
Just never human. Never human. And it comes from the earth in this specific range, but I don't know what would cause this specific area to have these things and not the Sierras, right? Why would the Sierras are long range. The Santa Lucia aren't nearly as large. So why there? I mean, you would think that if it were spiritual energy, I could see it definitely in the Sierras because there's gold in there, which means there's quartz in there. There's quartz all up in there.
Oh yeah.
It's quartz is a great conductor of energy.
So
I would expect to see a lot more of that like up in the Sierras, but you don't. This is like kind of like limited to the Santa Lucia mountains.
Right.
And I'm sure there's quartz in there too. But I don't know the composition of the Santa Lucia mountains.
Yeah. Well, when quartz you're talking, they're oscillators, right? So the more naturally tuned in they are to a specific. I mean, that's why everyone had quartz watches in the 80s. It's like the best way to tell time. Until atomic clocks came in,
there's a lot of gems that do that though. So when you get Monster of Complications, you get jewels, and you'll hear like it's a 50 jewel watch or it's a 20 jewel watch, and they're rubies, really.
Right.
So the more jewels that are in the watch, the more accurate the time.
Yeah. Because what it is you're increasing your amount of um, fine tuning in your frequency. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. With, one good rock, you could get an hour within an hour. And then within 20 rubies, you can get within a 13th of a second. Type of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what it means if you hear jewels and watches, not jewels like amperage.
Right. No, but
JULES and JEWEL.
yeah. No, that's where I find that a lot of those is the high quartz spots that they have. The same. There's like even a whole Champy and Nessie thing that they're actually the same thing. They're teleporting because both Champlain and Loch Ness have huge freaking quartz deposits, like insane amounts.
That's interesting because like the night watchers have always interested me because I have no clue what they are. Some of it, I mean, yes, some of it could be that Broken Spectre thing. But I don't think all of it is.
No.
And again, that phenomenon doesn't make sense to me if the people that are observing it are moving around. And I'm sure not all of them are wearing brimmed hats,
Right.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Or like priests from the old missions that would have had the brim hat.
Right.
And they would have had the black Cossack, I guess is what you call it.
Yeah. Like on Poltergeist 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That freaky.
Yeah, yeah, creepy dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Come on down with us. You're supposed to be with us.
No.
Oh, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Something just tells me that's not right.
And no, you can't come in my house, creepy guy with bad teeth.
Yeah, no kidding. No, but that is so. What you bring it up is kind of like we've talked about this before, but it's when it comes to that the brim of the hat and the old Undertaker look, like I'm sure that's just soaked in just enough to make it a Argon?
Egregore?
Egregore. The Alex Egregore group.
The Egregore. Yes. So the mass belief versus the solitary prayer.
Right. Because, I mean, eventually, if that's what you're seeing as an Undertaker dressed like that all the time, because, death is a common practice because, the living age is ripe old age of 40. Right. You know what I mean? So then, that would become.
You're at 17. Could you imagine?
Yeah. And so that's your mental manifestation of what death is carried to and fro by. So naturally, but when did it come to sink in to something as, prolific as like these night watchers, where they're giants? Like where do giants need? I
don't know. I don't know if they're, so let's say they're elemental spirits, right? So they're land-based, we'll call them land, right? Earth spirits.
Yeah.
And they're checking out the priests from the old missions, right? And they're digging the vibe. So that's what they're projecting as. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
they're stewards of the land. I mean, I'm not saying that every priest was great back in the day. I'm saying never mind. I'm not even going to go.
No. You're right.
But maybe they're seeing or catching catching the vibe. Like they mean well. I mean, maybe what they're doing isn't great, but they're doing it with good intent. Maybe they're
Yeah.
catching that and they're like, okay, well, these people seem to be at ease around this look.
Right.
That's what I'll
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. That's what I was going to go with. More of a being incognito, not to freak you out, even though what you're looking at is literally everything other than the human touch of a hat screams entity of some sort.
Right. I don't know what to make of them. They're fascinating to me. Every time I'm along the Central Coast, I'm like, I'd like to see one. Let's take a look. But it's foggy as hell there all the dang time. I think I've been on the Central Coast like once when it was just obscenely foggy.
I don't even remember. I've been to California like twice. I don't remember it at all.
It's beautiful there. It's beautiful. It's very steep. Very steep. Like driving to Big Sur is kind of freaky for me. It's like driving up Highway 1. Okay, I got to tell you a story about Highway 1. So Highway 1 from the Russian River north is steep. It's steep. And there's no guardrails. And as you're coming out of this town called Jenner, you cross the Russian River, you go through Jenner, and you see this rise, and then the road starts making turns because it's got to take a hell of an elevation in a short amount of time. You can't just go straight up, right? Your car ain't going to do that. So there's this zigzagging road that goes up, and you get there and you're driving on one for a little while. And then you'll see a sign for Myers Grade, right? Off to the right, my right. Okay, so off to the right. And Myers Grade goes up, Highway 1 kind of dips down. Well, there's free range cattle all in there. It's cattle country. It's dairy country. There's cows all over the place. And it's wet and foggy a lot of the time. And as you're driving north on 1, heading towards Fort Ross State Park, you will see below Myers Grade on Highway 1 a sign that shows an upside down cow and rocks. I know what it means because I live there. People visiting probably wonder why there is a sign with an upside down cow and rocks, because normally you'll just see the rocks because they'll come tumbling down anyway, right? Because it's steep and it's,
right. Landslide.
Yeah, that was weird. I heard a weird howling outside. Yeah, the cows fall onto the road, hence the upside down cow with the rocks. And I don't know that there is a sign like that anywhere else that I have seen. And actually, I saw that sign, I was browsing, I think Pinterest or something, just looking for, funny things. And I saw that somebody took a picture of the sign, and I was like, oh, I know where that is. I know exactly where that is. I might even have a picture of it myself somewhere. So, yeah.
Nice.
Beware the falling cows. Kind of like Dog Soldiers, where that one cow lands in the middle of their campfire at the beginning of the movie.
We've got cows.
Yeah, we got cows. I gotta go. We got cows. Okay, moving on. Okay, next one. The bunyip. I wish JoJo was here because this is an Australian monster.
I got one of those on my toe.
You got a bunyip? I do too. I was born with it. I've had it my whole
on each big toe.
Yep, on my right foot. It sucks. It sucks having a bunyip and being a girl. Yeah. Can't wear the cute strappy shoes. It stinks. But anyway, the bunyip monster that is not attached to either of our feet lives down in Australia. And it is an aquatic creature. And it is described as having a roundish head and a long neck and a body not unlike a hippopotamus. and or a manatee, or it's aquatic. So some people will say it has a body like an ox. Some will say it has a body like a hippo. Some will say it has a body like a manatee. So there's conflicting reports on the actual body, but they all agree it's got a long neck and a round head. So
sign me up.
Right? Who wouldn't sign up for that? And it likes to eat humans. Humans are its favorite snacky snack. I know, right? All the good ones love it. Specifically women and children, because apparently we're a delicacy.
More tender.
Yeah, for all of the creatures, women and children first, apparently. And it's said to make like a booming noise or a roaring noise. And it lives in the swamps and lagoons of interior Australia. And to be honest with you, interior Australia is a freaking desert. So I'm feeling like swamps and lagoons are probably few and far between. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure the interior is pretty arid. So there's obviously water in some places, and that's where this thing's hanging out. Now, I don't know. It sounds like a plesiosaur to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
If it had enough room to grow. But I mean, okay, so this part I do actually know. So when you're looking at the continent of Australia, oh wait, it's got to be upside down. What? So when you're actually looking at it from east to west, there's a big giant mountain range, and then right on the other end of that mountain range, it's where like all the water collects and drops right there, and it never makes it out to the out.
So it's on the west side.
Yeah, so it's on the west side of the mountain range.
Like the Olympic Peninsula, the west side gets all the water, and the east side doesn't get as much.
Doesn't get as much. Yeah, exactly. And there is, because it's so vast and so unexplored, that there's mad room for there to be a plesiosaurus out there.
Sure.
Like, yeah, because I mean, there's
everything else in Australia is trying to murder you, so why not?
Yeah,
plesiosaur. Not just throw a plesiosaur in there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They could be freaking saltwater freaking barracudas and
they could be jabberwockies.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all. If somebody's like, there's a jabberwocky fighting, I'd be like, no shit. All right. I believe you. Australia, you say? Makes sense.
Makes sense. Put another couple shrimp on the barbie, call it a day.
And it's a beautiful country, beautiful, beautiful country that I have absolutely zero intent to ever set foot on. And I salute JoJo for living there. Anybody who lives there. So anyway, the bunyip, I don't know. I don't know if it's something like a relic species, right? Like a plesiosaur-ish thing that survived. Or if they are just oral traditions of extinct animals, right?
Right.
So they're oral stories passed down about things that aren't around anymore. I don't know. Yep. I don't know.
We'd have to find some still living indigenous and find out, because that would be up to, if it's still in their modern, like, oh yeah, so and so went over there last Thursday and almost got one. You know what I mean? Opposed to, you want to go to
Australia and check it out? You want to go on a bunyip expedition?
No, I'll get bunyips just going on the expedition.
I already got bunyips. I got bunyips, and do your bunyips hurt when the storm comes in?
Oh yeah, everything does. Yeah.
Well, everything hurts. Waking up hurts anymore. It sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to complain about getting old, because there's a lot of people who don't have the opportunity, and that's not good. But
everything I've ever broke hurts before.
I've never broken anything. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Do you know the knock on wood tradition where that came
Yeah.
from? Why you knock on wood?
So, yeah, you knock on spirits in the trees for help.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
I do know this one. Yeah. Do the happy dance.
Yay! Something
Do
breezy.
the happy dance.
I know you know these other things that we've talked about tonight. I know you do.
I probably do. The Hawaiian one does sound new to me, though. I can't front. But then again, I'm not. That's one sector that I haven't gone. That in the Philippines, I've never really gotten into. But there is a bunch of cool stuff there. I just haven't gone down that rabbit hole.
Well, get down it, dude.
I'm trying.
I know a little bit of everything, like me.
Like me.
Have like a short conversation about it. All right, I can tell you a little bit about a lot of things. At one point, I probably told you a whole lot about the little bit that I'm telling you currently, but there's only so much room up here.
Yeah.
And I can only access so much of the memory, apparently. So I know enough to know a little bit about a lot of things.
Good night, Jason. You have a good one, man. Appreciate you coming in.
Night, Jason. Rollins, yeah. So those are my topics tonight. And I, like I said, not feeling great. I don't know that we're going to be going on much longer, but I do want to talk about a book. So I have my book recommendation tonight.
Yeah.
For everybody who wants to know, because I think last week I didn't bother doing one because we had Kevin on for his part 2, and I was completely ill-prepared with my book. So this week we have, since we were talking about Australia and the bunyips, we've got the Yowie in search of Australia's Bigfoot. So that was a terrible photo. I'm sorry it's so grainy. But the author is Tony Healy and Paul Cropper. And I had the absolute pleasure of getting to spend some time with Paul right around when this book was coming out, which was a long, long, long time ago, to be honest with you. I want to say it was like 2006-ish. But it was a good book. It was a good book then. It's a good book now. If you are interested in the Yowie, which is, if you don't know, Australia's version of Bigfoot, I highly recommend you pick up the book if you can find it. Since it's been in print for a while, I'm sure you won't have a hard time finding it. I think it was on Google Books. It's probably on Amazon. Go check it out and read the stories. And if you like that book, Paul has 2 other ones that are out. I know one of them is the Yowie Files. I can't remember the name of the third book, but check out Yowie in search of Australia's Bigfoot and come back and let me know what you think in the chat. Got anything, Breezy, before I sign us out for the night?
No, not really. I just love it how whenever you listen to Bigfoot, like in encounters, American versus Australian, it's just always freaking hilarious to me. Like, like the American ones will be like, well, we were in the tree blind, and then I heard the big snap of the twig, and it was giant, blah, blah, blah. And like, you switch over to Australia, it's like, that bloody pig, it was like 20 feet away from me, snatched me up, threw me about 40 feet, landed on me, took us, it's like,
oh, yeah.
they're like always like wrestling with the Bigfoot. It's not like,
yeah, I had a friend that
like
supposedly got like clotheslined by a Yowie.
Yeah, nice.
And I was like, dude, and then one of the scariest like encounters, Bigfoot, Yowie, Yeren, whatever, around the world that I have heard was this chick in the Blue Mountains. And I think she was she on a path? I can't remember if she was on like out for a walk or she was out for a smoke, because I've read so many stories, all of them kind of blend together. But anyway, this thing was like right on top of her. It was like right like on her, like chasing her or following her basically down this trail. And she's trying to get away from it. And it was like ghosting her. It was like on her. And I just remember reading her story thinking, holy shit, just lay down and die. I think I would probably just lay down and die, because I know I can't outrun it. So,
Right.
all
Yeah.
right. So that's it. That's it for us. Joe doesn't have any more to say. Monica's out of stories to tell tonight, and I'm sorry it's not a long show. I'm just not feeling very well. So
We're lame tonight.
I know
okay.
we are.
We'll be back.
We suck tonight. Sorry, guys. We'll bring it. We'll be better next week. And then next week, I'll do a show, but I will not be on 2 weeks from now because I will be out of town on vacation. So Joe gets a break.
Right on.
Are you doing anything this weekend?
Not this weekend, but the same weekend you're out, because you'll be in San Antonio. I'll be at the convention.
That's right. We'll be right next to each other.
Yeah. So I probably won't be doing shows that week either. So yeah.
There we go. And make sure that you catch us over on Breezy's channel tomorrow night on the Breezy Speakeasy.
We'll think of something. We'll have fun.
That time, 10 p.m. Central. And then I'll be on with Bigfoot Michigan Rob Saturday night at 10 Central. That's my time slot, apparently. Everybody's shows better be on at 10 because that's when I'm on, I guess. So hopefully I catch you guys on one of those other streams. And until next week, I appreciate everybody. Have a good night.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.